Hi, and welcome to Abundant Montana's Marketing Buzz webinar series. This series consists of 6 10 to 15-minute webinars focused on social media marketing and search engine optimization. At the end of each webinar, you will be assigned around 30 minutes of homework. You are now watching Module 3, where we'll focus on posting frequency and how to make valuable and attractive posts. My name is Sammy McGowan, and I am the Assistant Director of Abundant Montana, the go-to resource for local food in Montana. During Module 3, we'll go over what to post, when to post it, how often to post, and how to create valuable and attractive posts. First, let's talk about posting to your social media accounts. How often should I post is probably the most frequently asked question about social media ever. You'll find 1,000 different articles with 1,000 different answers saying 1 time a day, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, every other day, 5 days a week. But my answer to you is to post as often and as possible within your lifestyle and schedule. And that includes taking your mental health into account. Social media is meant to be a resource for your customers. And if you aren't at your best, you won't be able to run your company. And then your social media presence is a moot point. But basically, the simple answer is this. The more you post, the more the algorithm will put your content in your followers' news feeds. So first, let's talk about photos, posts containing photos only. Your posts can either have a single photo or multiple photos. Posting a single photo, like here on the left, is better on Facebook, and posting multiple photos, like on the right, is better on Instagram. When you post multiple photos on Instagram, it becomes what we call a carousel. And this is where you swipe through to see each photo one at a time. When you post multiple photos on Facebook, however, the photos show up as a grid or an album if you post quite a few. On Instagram, carousels are a great way to present a visual story or educational material, like the post that we posted about Region Market here, which had a total of 6 photos, with the cover photo telling the viewer what they were going to learn, and then the 5 following slides showing one reason on each one. Posting multiple photos on Instagram is beneficial as well because you can post up to 10 photos, and the first 3 photos will appear in a person's news feed separately if they don't scroll through the first or second time. This increases the reach of your posts overall. In terms of video posts, you can post traditional videos to both Instagram and Facebook, usually in the horizontal orientation, but both horizontal and vertical work. Reels and TikToks are like videos, but they are in vertical orientation only, and they are often multiple videos stitched together. This type of content is the only type of content you can post on TikTok, and Instagram responded to the creation of TikTok by creating Reels. So what times of the day should I post on social media is another big question, and my answer to that is to experiment. Your followers' habits might be different from my followers' habits, so the optimal time to post might be a different time. However, I would say that this is the least of your concerns when you start ramping up your social media production. The best thing to do is to start by focusing on producing more and high quality posts, and posting more frequently, not paying so much attention to when you're posting it. If you're creating high quality and valuable content, it won't matter as much when you're posting it. And then once you've started posting more frequently, you can then use your insights on Facebook and Instagram to learn more about when the optimal times to post are for your audience. And insights are basically analytics on social media. But a general practice is to start with early in the morning, like before work, and later in the evening, such as after dinner or after the kids are in bed. And I generally try to avoid posting on Saturdays because people are usually out and about and not on social media. Another way you can post on both Instagram and Facebook is by posting stories. Stories are video clips or photos that disappear after 24 hours. You can take pictures and videos from within the apps and post to your stories, or you can share photos and videos from your camera reel that you took externally from the app. And you can also share other people's content to your stories, such as their posts or their reels. Definitely use stories to your advantage, especially if you have a day where you don't have time to sit down and craft a post. You can simply talk to your camera and post without taking up too much time. Examples of ways to use stories would be to share behind the scenes videos of your business, reshare other posts your audience might find interesting. Plus, if your Facebook and Instagram are connected, you can share to both stories at once. So that saves you a lot of time. Now let's look at a few tips to make your posts valuable for your audience. So these 4 guidelines, the first one, catch their attention. So you're going to want to catch their attention right away, both in the post and in the caption. So you're going to want to make sure you have a hook right at the beginning. You're going to want to have a clear call to action. What do you want your followers to do? Do you want them to like the post, share it with their friends, go to their website? You need to tell them. In the captions, it should be clear and concise. In general, the shorter, the better, but don't miss out on an opportunity to share and connect with your audience on a personal level by posting longer stories, perhaps. And lastly, post a little bit of everything. In general, in terms of reach, reels are better than videos are better than carousel posts, and carousel posts are better than one photo posts. But there is value in all of them if you make them valuable. I keep talking about high quality posts. So how do you do that? One way is to take and post better photos. So here's some practical advice on taking better photos, even if you don't have a fancy camera. Take multiple pictures of your subject from different angles. Zoom in with your feet, not your fingers. Zooming in on a camera, especially one that already may not have very high quality photos, makes the quality even worse. So if you can, move closer rather than zooming in with your fingers. Experiment with exposure and focus by tapping on the screen of your phone and focusing on different parts of the photo. So let's talk about the 4 elements in a visual story. You have the environment, the action, the characters, and the details. When you are trying to tell a visual story, be sure to get photos of each of these elements. From these 4 photos, you can tell a story better than you could have from just one of them by themselves. There are also 3 different kinds of shots you can get: wide, medium, and tight. When taking photos of something, try getting photos with each of these types of shots. Each offer something different, and one might serve you now, while another might serve your purposes better later. There are also 3 composition principles known in photography that I wanted to introduce to help you take quality photos. The rule of thirds is a composition guideline that places your subject in the left or the right third of an image, leaving the other 1 or 2 thirds more open. While there are other forms of composition, the rule of thirds generally leads to compelling and well-composed shots. Leading lines is another composition principle. Leading lines are lines that appear in a photograph that have been framed and positioned by the photographer to draw the viewer's eyes toward a specific point of interest. These lines often draw the viewer's eyes in a specific direction or towards a designated portion of the photograph. So if there are rows of vegetables or fences or any type of line in the photos you're taking, take a step back and think about how you can use them to draw the viewer's eyes to something. And lastly, negative space photography. It emphasizes not just the subject, but the empty space around the subject. The viewer's eyes may be drawn to a central figure, but they can't help notice the large section of emptiness surrounding the figure. Plus, if you take photos with negative space, it can be easier to add text to the photo down the line as well. A few more suggestions. Take a lot of photos. Inevitably, one of the photos, if you only take one, is bad, so you want to take multiple. People love photos of dogs and babies, both human and animal, so be sure to take a lot of photos of dogs and babies if you happen to be around some on the farm or in your business. Search for small details within your business and post about those, something that you might not think of, but someone else might think is really cool to learn about. And lastly, take both horizontal and vertical photos of the same shot. Like I mentioned before, some things are better than others. For example, Instagram Reels or TikTok, you're going to want something that's vertical. And for anything else, you can use either vertical or horizontal. So taking both types of shots for everything you're taking is going to make sure that you always have what you need. Having learned all of that, let's talk about your homework. You have 4 assignments. Number 1, set a goal for posting frequency. For example, I want to post 3 times a week. Number 2, set up a posting schedule. For example, I will post Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings every week. Number 3, practice writing posts using the guidelines for making your posts valuable. And lastly, number 4, take photos to form a photo story. Include all 4 elements and all 3 types of shots to tell your visual story. Happy homeworking, and see you for Module 4, where we'll talk about Instagram Reels and TikTok videos.